I remember going to charity auctions, and there would be next to each item a sign-up sheet where you could bid on any items you want. I was interested in buying a bottle of wine, and there were maybe 4 bottles of wine for sale, and you could compare what the prices were relative to the value of what you were bidding for. And I thought, that's what we should be doing in spectrum licenses. Before the FCC had auction authority, they were using lotteries to assign spectrum licenses. We had flight attendants and dentists and others who were putting in applications and winning lotteries and getting rights to a license and then selling them for large amounts of money. They referred to that as unjust enrichment. And the FCC decided, well, if somebody's going to be paid for this, it might as well be us. It was a time when game theory was being brought into economics. Economics just said somehow or another there's supply and demand and a price magically emerges. There's no process, and one of the processes by which prices are set is auctions. People play, they bid in auctions, and the rules of the auctions affect how they bid. So the question was how much information makes its way into the price. And when will it be the case that enough information makes its way into the price that the price is a really accurate indicator of value? The FCC was trying to figure out what kind of auction to use. They made extensive references to my theoretical work. And they asked me if I could help them with this. And I thought, I'm a theorist. I don't know anything about this. But they said, well, why don't you, take a look anyway and tell us what you think. So I took a look at the notice of proposed rulemaking, and I say, well, this is too hard for me to solve optimally, but I can do better than that. We came up with the proposal of the simultaneous multiple round auction. So the simultaneous auctions involved both different bands of spectrum and also different geographic locations. We had an activity rule that said, you couldn't wait till the end to start bidding. You had to be active all throughout the auction. The auction didn't end at around when there was a new bid. If somebody made a new bid, there would always be a chance for somebody to come later and make a higher bid. The theoretical advantages of a simultaneous auction were clear, but what was unclear was whether something like this could be done in practice, because it had never been done before. This was a pretty revolutionary idea at the time. The critics thought it was completely impossible, much too complicated to do. And I remember coming to the FCC with a 3.5-inch disk with linked Excel spreadsheets and said, it isn't that complicated. Here's a spreadsheet in which the bidder could put in bids for the multiple things. It has software that checks whether the bid is eligible. There's another spreadsheet that will compute the prices for the next round. On an economic theoretical ground, this was superior to anything that had been proposed. When the first auction happened, it was so exciting. I mean, I was pretty sure that I had the theory right, and I was pretty sure that my software would work, but I wasn't at all sure that the FCC's software would work. So I was very nervous about it and was sitting there cheering in the background when it succeeded. Similar licenses went for similar, actually identical prices as they should when the auction is working correctly. If you sell them one at a time, that wouldn't have happened. Here was something that was supposed to raise $50 million according to industry estimates, comes in at over $600 million, and it turned out that the politicians and the lawyers, that's the number they looked at and said, wow, this is great, let's do more of it. William Safire had some article entitled "The Greatest Auction in History." The reactions of the public afterwards, and the fact that the FCC made it their standard method, and that, I got calls from Germany and from Canada and from Australia, people wondering how this worked and whether it would work in their setting. People were thinking, yeah, auction theory had real importance for the world. In the years that followed, I had a lot of my former students and my friends were very excited, and they said, Paul, you're going to win a Nobel Prize for this. And it was in 2020 when there came to be a knock on the door in the middle of the night. Paul, wake up, you've won the Nobel Prize. It said to me that the abstract work that I was doing in theory really did matter for the world, and that it was fair for me to be proud of the work that I was doing. And the rest is history.